Could it happen again? And would boomers be the reason? My generation, Coldwell Banker, Realtor Matt Cooney, on the impact on the market if a lot of old fogies like myself start unloading their homes en masse and there aren't enough buyers or younger buyers at that to scoop them up. Then we got problems, right?
Well, there are a lot of baby boomers. There's 75 million baby boomers. So 1 out of every 4 people in the U.S. is a baby boomer. They're between the ages of 54 and 72. So as they're getting ready to retire, to downsize, to move into assisted living, they're going to be exiting the real estate market. And the question is, who's going to buy those homes? Now, the generation behind them, Generation X, is a much smaller generation. There's only 65 million people in that generation. So there's simply not enough people in that generation to absorb the supply coming onto the market.
Generations behind that generation.
Well, you have the millennials. Right. Now, the millennials got off to a late start. I mean, they came of age during the housing crisis. Right. And so they're not really financially going to be in a position to buy those homes because for the most part baby boomers own those more expensive houses anyway, and there's a big age difference between millennials and baby boomers.
And a lot of younger buyers are not keen on buying the same homes, right?
Younger buyers tend to want turnkey, everything's fixed up, smaller. They're not looking for that fixer-upper where over time they can get the house the way they want it.
So there's a potential flood of homes on the market and there aren't that many buyers. And I know everything is local, all your real estate guys remind me of that. But where would this phenomena be the most pronounced? Because obviously boomers have been retiring as this cycle has been continuing.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to point out that Fannie Mae just came out with a study, and they predict in 8 to 10 years, you're going to see a significant increase in the number of homes. And it makes a lot of sense because in 10 years, those boomers will now be 64 to 82, those where all those life events happen.
So if any of those boomers are listening to you now, Matt, they would want to get out of their homes now, put them on the market now. Right?
Not necessarily, but what you need to do is educate yourself. Knowledge is power. You need to understand if you did sell your house tomorrow, what would be the most likely selling price of your house? And also, in retirement, do you need to sell your house to pull that equity out? Or can you age in place? Or do you want to age in place? If you live in...
You seem to be telling me the asset that this generation hangs on to is a declining asset right now, that it's not going to increase in value. If anything, it's going to go the other way.
Well, it's hard to have a crystal ball. I mean, there's obviously a lot of things going on in the economy, the tax breaks, the things of that nature. So it's hard to look 10 years down the line.
How has the tax thing sorted out for the housing industry?
Well, I haven't seen much of an impact on people in my local market not buying homes because of the tax break. I think, you know, with the tax breaks, you see other advantages that come into play, and that might mitigate some of the effects that you can't write off as much as
it's the same reason why those businesses in California that don't go to Texas, for example, yeah, it would be an easier move to do tax-wise, but it's a pain in the neck.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a big multinational company, I mean, it's hard to pick up operations and move them overnight.
So in New Jersey, where you and I are, where the governor has raised corporate taxes and the elite few, it's hard to get them to pull out of Dodge if they're all over the world and they're not inclined to.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you know, we both live in New Jersey because it's a wonderful place to live, right? I mean, there's great beaches, there's great beaches. Right. You know, so there's a lot of factors that go into where companies choose to locate because they want, obviously, their employees to be happy and comfortable where they are.
All right, but the problem could be just simple supply and demand. Too much supply on the part of boomers trying to get out and not enough buyers.
Correct. That is something that this study by Fannie Mae and the University of Southern California looks to.
Fannie Mae didn't predict its own problems 10 years ago, right?
Well, you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Once again, you know, the future is hard to predict, but you need to educate yourself.
No, it's a fascinating read. I read it. I was, you know, I didn't think of that. We'll watch very closely. Not although you are bumming me out. Matt Cooney.